Hi everyone, it's day 14 of my live 77-day video challenge, 2 weeks in. I can't believe it. I wanted to thank, I've had a few people either call me, send me a text message or email and telling me that they've watched me on this platform, which I find absolutely amazing. I didn't think anyone would watch except my good friend Lou, who's doing this challenge with me. But I thank you so much, because what I found is whenever I speak to someone or I get a text message, it actually motivates me to have a new theme on the next day. And someone reminded me, because I've been talking about being an army brat, but she reminded me of one thing that was kind of easy to move every 2 or 3 years when we were a child, but it was difficult when it came to those teenage years. And when she said that to me or texted that to me, it just really did sort of massage my memories. And I remembered all the guys I had crushes on, but I even remember them by name. Ross Brown, he was a guy that I had a crush on in the 7th grade. Kurt Hempfield, I had a crush on him in the 3rd grade. And in high school, there was a guy named Juan Nunez. And I had crushes on these guys, but what would happen is they would end up moving away, or I would move, and then you sort of think about those crushes. And of course, look, 40 years later, I'm still thinking of those crushes I had. But it's interesting because when you do have a crush on someone, or even if you start to go out with them, and then you end up moving away, you long for them, don't you? And there is something interesting to say about those crushes that we have when we're younger, and how maybe later in life we will reconnect. I did a little bit of research for this. A U.S. psychology professor, in her research of rekindled romances, Dr. Nancy Kalish, she found that these certain couples that rekindled later in life, they fit a certain profile. Most of them were under 24 years of age, so quite a young age, and also found that their relationship was sort of interrupted by external forces, which moving away or the parents didn't approve. But later in life, they both found themselves single. They did indeed find themselves single, and they did get back together. I find this interesting, that there was a 70% success rate of them coming together and staying married. And I know some of you might know this, but I am a celebrant or an officiant. I used to do weddings. I don't do weddings anymore, but I have done about 200 weddings. And I did find, like the later part of me being a celebrant, some couples had rekindled on Facebook, and they had dated when they were in high school. I found a lot of couples like that. Quite a few couples that I ended up marrying. So for those out there who had a love relationship when they were in high school, and I think when we have those relationships in high school, it's, we're going through all those hormonal changes, and there's this thing happening amongst us. We're so focused on that other person. Probably makes them probably much better than we think they are, but that's probably what makes it more intense. It was more of a raw, pure relationship. But as I said, being a celebrant, I have married quite a few couples who have rekindled their romance from high school and gotten back together again in their later years. Like later years, 50s, 60s, they've been married, they've had children, and later amazing. So yes, this 4-leaf clover is for my friend Lou. Here you go. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow for day 15.